Welcome to week 34, and also welcome to the Geraint Thomas National Velodrome of Wales, or whatever it's called now. It used to be called the National Velodrome Wales, I think. Been here a few times now, 3 or 4 times I think, riding the board, as they say. I don't really race track, and one of the clubs I'm in, one of the athletics clubs, has kind of organised a bike session here tonight, which should be good fun, I think. I hope. Anyway, there's a club out there at the minute, riding around, doing loops, riding around in circles, and I don't really know exactly what it is. I think it's a beginner session again, which I'm quite happy to do. Riding the fixie is not my strong suit, to be honest with you. As much as I'm a time trialist kind of primarily, I also ride a bit of cyclocross. I'm terrible. I mean, like beyond terrible at cyclocross, but I do enjoy it. And however, when it comes to riding track, it's not something I'm any good at all. I was a massive fan of Chris Boardman's and the Pursuit race that he did in '92 in Barcelona. Love kind of time trialing on the track, but otherwise it's a little bit of a mystery to me, all the points races and the Madison and stuff like that. Anyway, it should be a bit of good fun. Should get a good bit of B-roll tonight, and at least I'll be able to do some sort of exercise. The last couple of days I've actually had a bit of a niggle in terms of a cough and a little bit of a sore throat, so I've decided to kind of take it a bit easier the last couple of days. I've dropped a long run. I've also dropped the master swim session this morning, so I'll see how I get on tonight and see if I can be bothered to actually push myself. I don't want to end up back doing 2 months of nothing like I was a few weeks ago, so we'll see how I get on. I thought I'd very quickly show you the banking section on the corners. I don't think these lenses ever really do it justice, just how steep these things are. You have to be going a certain speed really to be able to stay on it. I'll try and see if I can give you some idea of the steepness of this thing. It's like doing a wall of death from up here. Always does. So the velodrome was really good fun. I really enjoyed my time there. It's the 4th time I've done this beginner session, but all the people that took part were really courteous, really friendly, and really enjoyed themselves, and we rode really hard but really safely, and that does make a big difference on a fixie on the velodrome. So that was a great deal of fun. Afterwards we went and had some food together, and there was quite a few people there I didn't know. In fact, I only knew a handful of the people that were there. So it's one of those really great situations where you're talking to people that you don't know and you're getting to know them, and you really don't know a great deal about them other than the fact that they know somebody you know that's organised an event. We weren't all from the same club, so there were loads of people there that I didn't know at all. So when you start talking to people, you start asking them about what they do and what their thing is. It never ceases to surprise me just how incredible people are in general. They're just amazing. So for example, Tony was there, a friend of mine. He's doing the Alpe d'Huez triathlon this year. He's an ex-rugby player, and the Alpe d'Huez triathlon is a 2.2k swim, and then you ride 118 kilometres, the last section of which is the famous 21 turns that you see in the Tour de France that goes to the top of Alpe d'Huez, which is an incredible climb and saps the energy of even the best world tour riders in the world. But what they don't have to do when they get to the top is what Tony's got to do, which is to run a 20k run at altitude on a trail. So, you know, you got people like that sat there. On my left and across the way from me were a couple who I didn't know at all, who do something called adventure racing that I've never come across before, which is kayaking, and then there's a trail bike ride and then a trail run, and sometimes these races can take up to 6 hours, which completely blew my mind. And then across the way from me, I had another woman who is a masters swimmer. Her event is the 200 fly. Now, anyone that's kind of managed to do 100 fly will know how tough that is. The idea of doing a 200 fly just completely breaks my heart, if I'm honest. And she can swim sub 130 for 100 meters fly. She's in her 60s. And then to my right, I had a friend of mine called Zara Davis, who I've introduced in a previous video some time ago, who's an osteopath I see when I get injured. And she's multiple world and European champion at speed windsurfing. She holds the fastest speed for any woman on a windsurfing board. So you're kind of sat there in this restaurant, and obviously people are coming in and out, and we just look like a bunch of friends, you know, anything between mid-30s up to kind of, I guess, late 60s. And you realise when you're kind of driving back from something like that, you realise that there are just people around you doing amazing things. They don't shout about it necessarily. They don't wear it on a t-shirt. They're not, you know, on TV. And there are people working behind the counters in shops or serving you food in a restaurant or taking the money for your petrol that are just daily doing incredible things. It does make me realise that sometimes I kind of maybe judge people a little bit too quickly on what they do. Generally, people are quite awesome, I think. We all have people that we look up to, that we aspire to, and we think they're awesome. We want to be like them. What we don't realise is that to other people, we're those people. We're the awesome people they aspire to be like. I think it's human nature to not realise that that's the case, that we're all capable and do amazing things on a daily basis. It doesn't necessarily need to be swimming 130 for butterfly. It could be that you're an incredible parent. There are people that I know that are just such great parents that I look to them and I'm super inspired by how they are with their kids and the ideas they come up with and things that they do with them. Or it could be the way you go about your business, the way you are with your employees. I had some friends around last night for dinner, and one of my friends runs a business, and the way he treats his staff is, you know, how you wish to be treated. He does amazing things for them. And I don't think that we realise just how incredible, how awesome we are, and that we can do amazing things, and that we do amazing things, and that people look up to us just as much as we look up to anybody else. And I think that's pretty much the thing that I've taken away from this week is to not lose sight of the fact that it doesn't matter if you come last place in a park run. You're not last at all. There are millions of people that didn't get up that morning and do that park run. So yeah, we're pretty awesome things, really, generally speaking. So well done you. In other news, I've been contacted this week by a couple of people. One of them is a guy called Colin McCourt, who is actually one of my main inspirations for doing these videos. He was an elite athlete who missed out on an opportunity to run at the Olympics, and he stopped running at elite level, put on a lot of weight, and moved up to Glasgow with his family. And his story is amazing, what he's done in the last couple of years. I'm going to put a link to his YouTube channel here. He's on Instagram as well, but I'll put a link to his story here. Please do check it out. He touched base with me and said that he really enjoyed my videos, and I'm pretty blown away by that, because actually these videos wouldn't exist without him. He is one of my main inspirations for kind of doing this whole thing anyway. So the plan is to maybe do some videos with him over this next year and do some sort of collaborations. And speaking of collaborations, a guy called Matt Legrand from north of Portland, Oregon, he does similar videos to me with product stuff and a weekly kind of video blog. His production values are way better than mine, but he touched base with me and got in contact with me and said that he really liked my videos. I really like his. Again, if YouTube will allow me, I'll do another link to his videos here. If not, I'll just put both Matt's and Colin's links in the description below anyway. Across the Atlantic, he's going to do some videos, I'm going to do some videos together, so that's really exciting. So then finally, my week in training. You can probably hear from my voice, I'm really stuffy. I've picked up this cold. I mentioned it in the run up to the Velodrome video that I was starting to get a little bit of a niggle, a bit of a cold coming on. It's completely coming out now. I'm really stuffed up. I've been coughing. I'm really genuinely worried about getting another one of these chest infections that laid me out for 2 months. I'm really just gonna stop training. I have done after I did the Velodrome, which was really dry air. Loads of people were coughing, not just me there because of the dry air in the Velodrome, but I'm hoping to make sure that I don't make this cold any worse. So I've stopped training. I managed to do about 4.5 hours of bike riding, easy bike riding earlier on in the week with my commutes. Brilliant cross bike ride into Bristol alongside the river with the sun coming up, which was just glorious. What else have I done? I did a master session and I did an easy swim, and that's about all I've done this week alongside the Velodrome. So I've done about 4 or 5 hours on the bike, and I've done a couple of swims. I've done no running this week. I'm going to cut everything out. However, my fitness levels are still maintaining okay. They had got up to 53 CTL, first time I've broken through that 50 mark, but it's dropped back down to 48, which is actually where I've been over the last couple of weeks. I don't mind it dropping a few more points over the next couple of days whilst I'm not very well. It's really important that I get myself healthy and manage to get myself back to that fitness level and start building again. I'll post a quick picture of the CTL gain that I've made. You can see the block here in the centre where I was ill, but you can see where I was beforehand, and you can see how steadily I've managed to build my fitness over the last couple of months, and I'm really pleased with that. I need to make sure I maintain that fitness and don't get any worse. So anyway, that's the end of week 34. Not a huge amount to report back in terms of fitness. It's supposed to be an intensive week. Obviously it's not going to be that. Depends how much I improve next week and whether I can do an intensive week next week. It depends how quickly I get well. But anyway, we'll see how we get on with that. So I'll post a link to the playlist of the videos here of the last 34 weeks. Week 1 explains why I'm doing what I'm doing. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to look at Colin and Matt's channels as well. And I'll see you next week for 35. Hopefully I'll be coldless and absolutely fully healthy. Have a great week. Don't forget, you're bloody awesome.